So I'm not the best at sharpening razors, but I do like to shave with a straight razor. And recently I decided I wanted to try a Kamisori, which is basically a wedge grind, Japanese. This back side is hollow, and the front side is hollow as well. So when you lay on the stone like this, you're grinding this section right here where it's shining, and also along the edge. Same is true on the reverse side, but you're grinding along the back face here and the very edge. Now, because it's a wedge grind, usually you have to do a funny ratio of like 10 to 1, 10 passes on this side, 1 pass on this side, 7 to 1. As long as you just keep some sort of ratio. You don't want to do a 1 for 1. You don't want to sharpen 1 stroke here, 1 stroke there, 1 stroke here, 1 stroke there. Doing that will upset the balance and cause you to have a double bevel. So I'm going to make an attempt to sharpen this on camera. I don't want to really throw my hat into this arena. There's 1,000 guys out there who do straight razor sharpenings that are way better than I am. But I'm going to do it. I figure somebody might like to watch this. And as you can see, this razor has some issues going on already. Now, this is how it arrived to me. It's supposed to be new old stock. The main cutting bevel has several faces on it. You can see that factory grinding right there, and then you can see the shiny portion at the very edge. So somebody has honed this at some point, and it does go along the entire edge. So technically I could probably touch this up and shave just fine with it, but I do want to even this out a little more and just make sure that it's as sharp as I can possibly get it. There is a slight burr on the back. I tried stropping just a hair, so I may have removed some of it, but there's definitely some burr left over, right in this area especially. We're going to get to this though. I'm going to use some Nubatama stones to start. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with those through the whole process, but I am going to start with them. Get a little magnification on this and see what we're looking at. So the edge does need some work in a few areas. I'm going to start on my 1K Nubatama Ume. If this feels like it's going too slowly, I may transition over to, say, a 320 Shapton Pro. I'm not going to tape this. I don't care about wear. This is going to be a razor that I use. I have lapped this stone and it is conditioned to a very coarse texture. This should make pretty short work of this. Now with these razors, like all straight razors, when you place it on the stone, you want to give slight pressure forward towards the edge. Now that I've done those few strokes, I'm going to take a look at my scratch pattern, and I am grinding right where that bevel was that was shining. So there's less wear down at the base and more wear about midway close to the tip. So if I want to get this even, what I need to do is concentrate more towards the base. So I'm actually going to place my finger here, put a little pressure towards the front, and kind of put a little pressure towards the handle. Now at this point, I'm not really concerned with much else other than getting this straight. So doing a 7-to-1 ratio, for example, I'm not very concerned with keeping the ratio perfect. I just want to get this edge fixed. So putting that little bit of pressure has ground down on the bevel. It's gotten it closer to the face where I want it. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to put pressure all along the edge, slightly rotate my hand towards the edge, and see what I get. From what I've heard, most of these razors grind really, really well and really, really quickly. And this is coming along quite nice. And that's getting pretty straight. So once again, place pressure across the entire edge. A little bit of burr. Again, the two ends look good. The middle section, I just got a little bit more bigger, and I should have it right on. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So this 2000 grit is not too far away from the 1000 grit Nubatama Ume. They're both Ume stones. And they're both very coarse for their grit rating. But this one's just got that little bit of extra. Just that little bit of extra fineness. I've got pretty much all the scratches switched over to the 2K. So this is the 4000 grit Ume. It's been flattened from my previous use. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it one more time, just for good measure. Now this is a very hard stone, like the Shapton Pro. And I found, like the Chosera and the Nanowa Pro, if I don't lap the stone after every use, I tend to get cracks. Just one of the detriments to these hard magnesia-based stones. But they are nice stones. As you can see, this one does absorb a little water. And I don't know if you can see the little streaky lines. That's actually where the cracks will form. if I don't lap it. So doing that quick pass, I'm going to take a look at my bevel and seeing if there's anywhere that's polishing a little more than others. And so far it's looking pretty even, pretty good. So we're eliminating the 2000 grit scratches. And because this stone is a little bit muddy, it's producing a little bit of a hazy finish. So I think I'm going to go ahead and transition from here over to the 5K Shapton. Before I do, I am going to lap it, just so I can prevent those cracks from appearing. Just a preventative measure. Don't ask me why this works, but it does. This is where I consider the true sharpening, where it starts to happen from my 5K Shapton, 8K, and 15K. Before all this, I just kind of consider it bevel setting, getting the bevel where it needs to be. Now I've already lapped and flattened this stone, so I know it's good to go. This is where I'm going to probably spend the majority of my time on this 5K stone. Next, of course, to the 1K. Getting the bevel set's always the longest process. But this is where I'm really going to get that sharpness, where my edge is really going to take shape. You may see me do 10 strokes one direction, 2 strokes the next, 5 strokes one direction, 1 stroke the next. I'm not really keeping count here. I'm just going by feel, really, and intuition. Again, I'm not the best razor sharpener. I can get them sharp enough that it's comfortable for me to shave, and that's good enough for me. However, I would never compare my edges to anyone else. Check my progress. Start to get that 5K shine. I'm actually almost done on this stone, surprisingly. This stuff really takes the stones very well. Sounds like something's on the stone. Big old piece of bird something. Yep, I think I have used this one for all it's worth. Next is my 8K. I am going to flatten this one. You can, of course, leave some of that slurry left on the stone after you flatten it. It'll help cut a little better, but I don't really do it that often. It's just not really required. Getting a really nice bright finish. Feels really nice and sharp. My undercut looks good. Coming and going. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. This is the final stone. This is the 15K Shapton Pro, sometimes labeled 12K if you get the Kuramaku series. It just depends. Either way, this is the finest grit sharpening stone I have. From here, I'll take it to diamond strops. Do some really light final strokes here. Final step for my razor blade sharpening is going through a series of strops. This is the smooth side of leather. I use 2 micron CBN. Then I go 1 micron, 0.5, and then 0.25. And I'll do about 50 passes. Every 10 passes I do on this side, I'll do 2 on the other. So there's 10. $20. $30. $40. And 50. So I'm done with 2 micron CBN. I'll make sure I wipe the razor blade off really well before moving on to my next strop because I don't want any contamination. You guys see what I'm doing? I'll come back when it's all said and done. Well, that's it, guys. Got this now sharpened up, ready for use. You still see some scratches in there, but that's okay. The edge of the edge is ridiculously sharp. See if I can get that teeny little bevel on the back to show up. This turned out rather well. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this easy. I'm very surprised and happy. Now you can see there's a ton of wear right in here. And again, I'm not worried about the not worried about the wear on the razor. This is going to be 100% user for me. I'm gonna go strap it up on my horse butt leather and fire hose and give it a test shave. Now that zoomed in view is a bit of a fisheye, so trust me, the edge is dead straight. Although it's thinner up here and widens in the back, that's to be expected because the steel thickens up back here, which is why you get so much wear the way you get wear. Well guys, I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. Y'all have a good one.